Hi everybody, Sean Holsinger here from HolsingersFlyShop.com. Bringing you another fly time video today. Today a dry fly, and a really cool one at that. A lot of the times the way I get ideas for videos is from customers requesting me to tie something new that I have to find out about and learn. And this is one of those flies. This one is if you find it Kelly Gallup's pattern, he calls it the found link. It's actually his variation of the missing link from Rainey's flies, and the reason that Kelly Gallup likes it so much is because it floats so well. He fishes the Madison. If you've ever been to the Slide In and seen the Madison, and you can float a fly on that river, it's a good floating fly. So he says that he claims in his video that this is he fishes the fly that he fishes most often for a dry fly, just in different color variations. I'm just showing you a standard, generic gray pattern that will work for just about anything. And that's the way I'm going to tie it. I'll also tie it in some olives. Definitely tie it in some sulfurs for coming up here, a little bit smaller and sulfur colored, because this will be a great sulfur spinner pattern, which I like to fish anyway. Spinners, I find, especially during the sulfur hatch, I like to fish a spinner over anything. I don't know why, it just works for me. Really cool pattern, floats really well, got a nice silhouette, and it'll have a nice impression on top of the water. So give this fly a try. It was a lot of fun for me to tie. A couple new things, a couple new techniques that I haven't used in the video. Like, this is a little bit different way to make a tail. We're also combining like a caddis pattern with a spinner pattern, so that's a little bit new too. That's one of the things I like to stress in my videos. I like to stress technique. I want you to build on technique over pattern. I don't want you to be concerned with patterns as much as techniques, because every pattern is just a combination of different techniques that we build on. So if you learn the techniques, you'll learn the patterns. So here it is in the fly. Enough of me talking. Let's get into tying it. Okay, here you see Gallup's found link in the vise here. You can see how nice and flat it is on the bottom, and how well it's going to ride on top of the water, nice and flat, and give that spent wing look. So let's get into tying it. For a hook, I'm using a Daiichi 1260. You can use a Firehole 419 if you want to go barbless. I'm just going to use this 1260. For thread, we're going to use some Nanosilk 12-up black. Just going to start it off at about the middle, like maybe a third of the way back. Wrap back towards the bend. And then trim our tag off. Then I'm going to add, for the tail, we're going to use some Coq De Leon. And I'm going to take, about 10 or so fibers here. I want this maybe a little bit thicker than I normally do. I want this to ride, and what I want is I want the length of the shank. So I want to tie it down. I want this kind of be a little longer than I normally tie, probably, and a little bit thicker, because I want this to float. This is going to be a fly that's going to float in faster water. So I want to give it all the help I can give it. Okay. So, got that tied on there. I'm going to take, you see how that's hanging down? I'm going to take and spin underneath it. Do a wrap or two underneath it, and that'll help stand that tail out more. Like that. Now, next thing we're going to do is I'm going to use some, this is Stimulator deer hair. This is just real short deer hair. And I'm going to take a little tiny clump of that, cut it off, put it in a hair stacker. I have a small hair stacker for this one. And you can see I got all my tips lined up, so I'm just going to pull them out. And you see it's very thin. I don't have much there. And I want this to go about halfway back that tail, where it's at right now. And then this is also going to create body. So I want this to go to where the wing's going to be, about a third of the way back. And we're just going to trim it off right there. Okay, so I'm going to trim that up a little bit nicer. There we go. And then I'm going to hold this down on top of the hook, make 2 or 3 loose wraps, get it in place where I want it, and then slowly wrap it down tighter. Now, I'm going to go back the hook and wrap it looser so it goes around the hook. And I want it to spin. As you can see there, I spun it the whole way around that hook and around that tail, making a nice, just little extra tail on it here. Okay, now you can actually leave your body like that. You got a gray body with black thread shining through it. You can do it like that if you want to. The one that I had been requested to do, the guy asked for something a little different. He wanted a little bit of flash in this, so we're going to add some flash. Alright, we're going to wrap some Perdigon body from Semperfli here. This is iridescent blue. This is going to give us our rib. Okay, we're going to wrap that on there. Then we're going to take some dubbing, some Scud and Shrimp Gray. This is Pattern Blends. And I'm just putting a very tiny amount on here. Like I say, we're just changing the color of the thread. You can see I already got that built up pretty well. Oops. I already got it built up pretty well with my tail material there. So we're just going to come in, give a nice color change, and not really add any body to it, just add color to it. Just a hair more to get me up there to the end. There we go. Now we're going to rib this, and you don't need to do this. You could also use like a crystal flash, like a smoke blue would work nice. This just adds a nice little bit of flashiness to it. Something to catch the fish's eye. So we're going to wrap that off. Now I'm going to add my spent wing, which is EP fibers. This is dark done. And what we're going to do is we're going to lay it on top of the hook, and we're going to figure 8 it on here. So just going to pull this out, and then just figure 8 back and forth to get this tied in. Get a couple wraps in there, and then you can, once you get it tied in a little bit and got a couple wraps in, I like to pull it straight up, trim it off the length, or close to length I should say. Get that long piece out of the way, and then I'm going to pull the fibers back. You can see I got them on top here. Now I'm just going to figure 8 them in just a little bit better and try to keep my fingers out of the way for the video. There we go. Now once I'm at this spot, I like to add a little bit of color to the head. So I'm going to take some, this is Dark Stone, SLF Pattern Blends. And I'm just going to put a little amount on there. Again, I'm already building up on here, so we're just doing a color change with our thread. And I'm just going to figure 8 this in. Maybe make a wrap or 2 behind. Okay, now, you see we got our nice spent wing going there. Now we're going to add our wing up above. And for the wing up above, we're going to use some elk hair. And I'm just going to use some nice bull elk and cut a chunk out. Put it in my hair stacker to get all my ends tied up the same length you can see here. And then we're just going to pull them out by the tips. I'm going to set it on top, and where I want them to go is about right above the tail. So once I get them in position, I'm going to come in, and this is why we're leaving that much extra room at the head there. I'm going to make 1 or 2 loose wraps, and then we're going to tie it down tight. Okay, and then I'm going to make sure I pull my wings back. Get them out of the way so I don't get them tied down or anything. Make a couple wraps around here and up on the wing. And then I'm going to trim this off as close as I can to that eye. Oops. Okay, then I'm going to pinch everything back, clean up that eye with my thread, and then I'm going to come in and put a little head on here. I'm going to go back to that dark stone, add a little bit more to it, and just make a nice clean head. So when I do this, I'm going to go up on that elk hair a little bit and try to clean everything up. Make a nice head here, and then wrap back right behind the eye and make a nice clean wrap there. And there we have it. So we're going to cut this, whip finish this off. And then I'm going to come in and trim up my wings. And where I want my wings is to be, I want my wings to go back towards the tail like this, okay? So I don't want them to be too long, and I want to trim them at an angle. So I want to trim them towards the tail. As you can see, I did that one. And then I'll come over and do this side. And there we go. And there you can see from underneath, you got that nice spent wing look. You can trim up a couple of the elk hairs that hang over the side a little too far. There we go. See, now you have this as your cider now. That's why I'm using that bull elk, that nice bleached colored bull elk on top. You got a nice cider here, and it's going to ride on top of the water real nice. Okay guys, I hope you like that. I know I do. It's a really cool fly, and I can't wait to fish it this year. It's one of those flies you look at it and you just know it's gonna fish. It has all the qualities that we look for, and it's gonna float. When you want a dry fly, you want it to float. So this one is definitely going to, and it's gonna have that nice cider with using the elk hair on top of it. So, you know, change up if you don't want it to be as bright. Maybe switch out to a natural deer hair, which is a little bit darker, or switch to a bleached. I was using natural elk hair in there. If you want to switch to a bleached elk hair, it's going to stand out even more. And remember, looking at it from the trout's perspective, he's just seeing them spent wings hanging back. He's not seeing the elk hair on top, which is helping it float, but also giving you a cider. So have fun tying this fly, tied in multiple colors to match your hatch, and multiple sizes, because, you know, I tied it on a 14 here, but sulfurs come, you know, anywhere from a 14 to an 18. So have them in multiple colors. So when you're on the stream, you're ready to match the hatch. So guys, thanks for watching. If you need any of the materials, like always, down in the description, I got a link to all the materials down there. You can just click, go straight to our website, and we really appreciate you. And here it is when I'm filming this video. It's the holiday season, and we just want to thank you for all the support you've given us over the past year, well, the past years, but this was a really good year for us, and we're very thankful for you guys. So thank you very much, and please subscribe to my channel, do all the stuff I normally tell you to. Like our video, comment, you know, if you like this fly, give me a comment down below, and we'll see you next week, guys. Until then, I'm Sean Holsinger.